G.I. Joe, the movie, also known as Action Force, the movie in the UK, is a 1987 American direct to video anime military science fiction film produced as a sequel to the 1983 animated series G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero, based on the original Hasbro toy line. It was produced by Sunbow Productions and Marvel Productions, and it was animated in Japan by Toei Animation Company Ltd. And you can read the rest of it on wikipedia.org. I'm not going to bore y'all to death. Listen, it was released on April 20th, 1987. The running time was 93 minutes. Country here in America. English, the language. Now, it was created at the height of the G.I. Joe craze in the 1980s. G.I. Joe, the movie, was intended to be as a theatrical release to be closely followed by Transformers, the movie. However, G.I. Joe, the film, encountered unexpected production delays, which followed the Transformers future to be released first. Due to the poor box office performances of Transformers, the movie, and My Little Pony, the movie, I'm still shocked it existed. How in the world did I miss that? Oh, my bad. I'm not a fan of My Little Pony. G.I. Joe, the movie, was instead released to direct to video, as well as aired on television and syndication, first in featured length format, and later to split into 5-part miniseries as format. As part of the series syndication package, it was followed by the 1989 animated series G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero, considered a separate series from the 1983 animated series of the same name. And yes, the plot, you can read of it. Like I said, you can read the rest of it on wikipedia.org. It's about the Joes versus Cobra, as usual, duking it out, the control of the world. I'm battling for the world. The Joes want to save the world from evil. The Cobra wants to take over the world. And this time, well, Serpentor plans to capture the G.I. Joe's latest weapon, BET. And no, I'm not talking about... I'm not talking about the Black Entertainment Television either. Shut up. It's the broadcast energy transmitter. So you can read of it. That is the plot of it, but it's more than just that. You have few characters play a role, or characters. For example, you had Cobra Commander versus Serpentor, who was created by Dr. Mindbender and Destro. This was before the movie. There was an infighting in the Cobra organization between the two, and let's just say Cobra lost in that little battle and he was exiled, and we saw what happened to him since then. And yeah, and you had Lieutenant Falcon. Let's just say that he got himself in a situation he shouldn't be in, flirting with Jinx, and he got court-martialed, and I did not know that him and Duke were half brothers. So like I said, Lieutenant Falcon, let's just say things was so bad for him, he got hit with the court martial. He had to go into this training, the slaughterhouse by Sergeant Slaughter and his renegades, the former Viper Mercer, former football player, Red Dog, a former acrobat Taurus, and everybody else. They play a role too, so be on the lookout for them when you're watching the movie. And there was one big change to this movie. The original, those who have not seen it, go away, watch the movie, then come back to watch this video. Those who have seen it, stay here, let's talk. There was a death in the G.I. Joe movie. Serpentor impaled Duke in the heart because he was going after Lieutenant Falcon. Duke got in the way, and we saw what happened. Unfortunately, Duke was deceased due to the fatal injury. And I did not know that there was a backlash of it the same way as the Transformers back in 1986, So they changed that the same way they did with Transformers, but instead they made it where the strike team received the news that Duke has come out of the coma and is recovering, so he made it. So there's two different versions of the movie. I mean, plus it's a kid movie, and you don't want death and everything, which that was in 1980s, and that's understandable. You don't want to anger the parents or the soccer moms, you know what I mean? But still, heroes don't last forever. I'm just saying. So what did I think about the G.I. Joe the movie? I've seen it a bunch of times when I was a kid, Texas days, and let me tell you something, it was the hype, man. I loved it. I mean, I was a fan of it. I was a fan of G.I. Joe the same way with Transformers. Well, not Transformers, but Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Silverhawks, and all this other stuff. Plus, I had the action figures. So the fact that Duke perished like that, you're like, man, that's a real hero right there, and it sucks. So I can't remember if I saw it in the movie theaters or watched it on VHS. I can't remember. It's been a long time ago. so it's my favorite G.I. Joe movie of all time. So it's on the top of my list. Speaking of which, let me get to my the best to the least favorite. I mean, my favorite to the least favorite movie. I have G.I. Joe the movie, the anime at number 1. I have Retaliation at number 2. I know people are gonna be yelling, screaming at me about that, but I don't care. I have Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins at number 3, and I was really struggling with that in my head. I'm like, man, should I put it at number 2? Should I put it at number 3? It was like a little duking out, but I decided to put it at number 3. And number 4, my least favorite, and I talked about that at the beginning of my channel, around late 2000s, it was a G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. So I didn't like that movie, but it wasn't like crappy like it was with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014 movie, but it was still bad. It didn't give me a headache and anything like that, but it was still bad. So, and with that in mind, throwing y'all a salute, I will try to do another video tomorrow. If not, it'll be on the weekend if Mother Nature don't play a role, severe thunderstorms and everything else. But hey, anything can happen. So with that in mind, throwing y'all a salute. What's your thoughts on the videos, on the topic? New subscribers, welcome. I appreciate it. I'm out.